Athletes and fans around the world, welcome to another episode of Primetime Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins, joined, as always, by Judge Tarek Elgindy.
Great to be here, but today I'm definitely not that relevant compared to the person we have over there.
You know, sometimes you get an upgrade on your flight, and you're happy you get to sit up front, and then sometimes you get an upgrade in another chair. Today, 8-time Miss Olympia,
That's
Linda
right.
Murray.
8. That's right. An upgrade for sure.
Well,
you gonna pick on me?
There's nothing to pick on you, Linda Murray.
Okay.
You've won the Olympia. You've won everything. Whoever was there before you, I can't even remember his name.
That's right.
He's not as successful as you are. He's not as beautiful as you are. There's nothing to pick on Linda Murray.
and she's here on time.
She's here on time.
On time, always. On time.
Well, guys, the season kicked off in a big way. A show that was, by all accounts, incredibly well done, well intended. The athletes that showed up were amazing. It was a great start to the season. The Detroit Pro had a battle at every level, classic and open. There were great physiques up there.
Well, in the open, we had William Bonac edging out Sasan Harati. William Bonac, we know, traditional guy in our industry. But I also want to give credit to the promoters. Fuad Abiad, Ben Chow, and Paul. I actually judged with Paul in Canada one time. These guys are amazing. They're passionate about the sport. They're trying new things with the stage. We're going to cover that. But William Bonac versus Sasan Harati. Most people didn't know who Sasan Harati was. I knew him well. He competed at the Cal about 3-4 years ago. And he placed second, where he lost to Nathan Diasha, but he beat Rafael Brandão. So I knew this guy was good. Why did William Bonac win, in my opinion? It's the width, right? The width on the chest, the width on the back. You could say Sasan Harati has incredible conditioning. He's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But if there's one thing that he needs to improve, he needs to be broader.
Yes.
It looks like he's a bit narrow. And I think that's where William Bonac got him.
Now, Linda, this is something you'll definitely can speak to. One of the things with William Bonac is one place they keep saying, when's he going to fade? You know, him and Brandon Curry. When are they going to start the natural process as you go into your 40s and 50s into
Correct.
atrophy and the lack of quality? But what he's getting is that beautiful, dense, mature muscle.
Yes.
That is just, when it's conditioned, is really hard to beat.
It's hard to be mature muscle. It's hard to beat the wisdom that he has. I know we interviewed him, and you could hear like he knows his physique. Like he's on point. Some things that he's experimented with in the past, like he knows about the carbs and some of the things as far as we talked about water intake. And like he knows his physique, and you cannot beat wisdom and maturity. He's figured it out.
Let's look at his posing routine. I got to say, though, when I noticed, when I was watching from home, there is something... William Bonac, the only thing against William Bonac is other people, because the best William Bonac shows up every time. It's not a matter of, was I my best? Did I know what I was doing?
Yes.
It's a matter of who did I have to stand next to? And in this case, this best William Bonac was really something to behold.
I have to say this. I love this guy. I love his personality. I love what he stands for. He was a 212 competitor that came down. One thing that I always tell people is Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Olympia, in the same, majestic place that Linda Murray is, one time said after he placed second at the Olympia, Bonac is off the chains. Bonac, for you to impress Ronnie Coleman, you got to be real good.
Stop that right there. Linda, break a lot of this down for us. The striations, everything is just, okay, that's a beautiful spot.
Yeah,
right
just a beautiful spot on him. You look at the glutes and the hamstrings from the side. I mean, just nice, full muscle, nice little tiny waist. But look at the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, like without question from the side. Like when I saw William Bonac competing in Detroit, and I was like, hands down, this guy, he's got it.
He had, and he packs a lot of muscle on that frame, right? He's one of those guys that we say there's no more space to put muscle on. and then he's so broad on top, and then the back double biceps. He knows. He told us on the live.
Yes.
That's my shot. Carter, put it on.
Because I watched at the Detroit Pro when they were doing the pose down at the end, and like his width and his back, he turned to the rear, he tapped Sass, said, come on, let's turn to the rear. And I was like, Sass, don't do it, don't do it. And when he spread and did that lat spread, like he's got more detail. You know,
now, here was a thing. They were talking about this a little bit.
Look at that.
About the tape on the thumbs. Look at that. How
wide.
And they were talking about how his lower lats were touching his glutes at the top.
Kind of like Kai Green. He's got the low lats like Kai Green. You know, it's just dense. And look at the clavicle bones. It's large on the clavicle bones. This is a dense bodybuilder. Guys, William Bonac has beaten Hadi Chupin. William Bonac was second at the Olympia. He's won the Arnold. If this guy is on, he is a problem.
He's a problem. Yeah. I was so glad that he won. I mean, I want to see him on the Olympia stage. I know Sass is just a matter of time it's going to happen for him, but I was really pleased that William Bonac chose Detroit. And he said he chose Detroit because what he heard about the Detroit Pro, and he says, I'm definitely coming back. I want to do that show.
You know, it's kind of interesting that now we have the show, Detroit Pro, which the background is black, right? They want that contrast with the competitors. You only see the sponsors on top on the live stream. But there's something about the city of Detroit, and maybe Linda can elaborate.
Yes.
It's the home of the Pistons, right? The Detroit Pistons, the bad boys.
The bad boys.
Then they went back to win again when they had Rasheed Wallace. And Detroit just has this. Andrea Shaw is from Detroit.
Yes.
Linda Murray's from Detroit.
Yes.
There's something about that town that just is a little bit more, how can I say,
aggressive?
We're a blue-collar town.
Yeah.
Blue collar, hardcore, work hard. Some of the best physiques come out of that when we hibernate and it's cold and it's like Gotham City. And we get in and we dig in because we have like what? 5? We have Iris Kyles from Michigan.
Oh, gracious.
Linda Murray, Andrea Shaw, Nicole Wilkins. We have a lot of Miss Olympias.
Almost 30 Miss Olympias.
There you go, right there.
Wow.
You know, and Chris Bumstead one time said, I asked him, what's up with Canada winning all these shows? And he mentioned the same thing. Dude, it gets cold and we get back into the gym. We're not outside and we start lifting. And, you know, Gotham City, and now they have the black background.
Yes.
So it's kind of cool. I give them a lot of props, but I'm also happy that now we know Sasan Harati. Now people know him, and he deserves that praise.
So we always, we try to leave people with something to take away, what our thoughts are on, now he's Olympia qualified.
Absolutely.
Sasan Harati's got to find his path to the Olympia, and he's getting more impressive at every show. But any tweaks or fine tunes that Bonac could do as he takes a little time off and gets ready for the Olympia?
You know what I think was really cool about it? Because he's at that place of wisdom, when we had that conversation with him, he knows it's just a matter of him just chilling and resting, that more is not better. The key is who trains the smartest.
Yeah.
And he gets that. Doesn't need to do extra. Just rest and bring it. And I know he will at the Olympia.
I agree with Linda. You know, you talk to him, you feel a serenity about his career. You talk to some of the young guys, even when they win a show, they go, well, I'm going to get this better. I'm going to change this. I'm going to change that, right? And then you talk to a guy like William Bonac, he goes, I know my place. I know what to do. I know my weaknesses. I know my strengths. I know what he is in a good place. And that means trouble for the other competitors.
Well, it's going to be weird the year, there's only so long you can do this. We saw that with Dexter Jackson, who did it longer than anybody could have imagined.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine still an Olympia without William Bonac, so I'm glad he's requalified and he'll be back on that big stage.
It's William Bonac and Brandon Curry, 2019, right before COVID. And those guys brought it during COVID. It's a generation of bodybuilders that are blue collar, right? Brandon Curry is also like that. So they'll forever be remembered.
Well, He is qualified, and we'll continue on with classic physique and what happened at the Detroit Pro when we come back on Primetime Muscle. All right, Detroit Pro, Matt Grego, and that was a tight battle. Those
It
guys
was a
looked
tight
amazing.
tight battle. Matthew Grego, beautiful structure, love his lines, his symmetry. He was better. He wasn't as crisp as we saw him at the Arnold, but Wesley Visser's incredible back development. But overall, the structure on Matthew Grego, that gave him the check to first place.
He's thick. I mean, I just feel like, Wesley Vissers has some poses that he's so impressive, but then from the back, the legs from the back is, needs to be improved. And then he went against a guy that's like exposed some of his weaknesses.
Yeah.
Just thick and big, young guy. He needs more separation, to go against some of the top guys. But I think Matthew Grego is going to be a star in this Mr. Olympia.
This is a tough thing because you look at their check-in pictures, and I know it's Miracle Light, or what do they call that, the Dream Light,
Yeah.
where you're catching it from the side window
Yeah.
and you haven't been tanned yet. But he is so separated and so strided and so brilliantly
So
defined
brilliant.
that I think there's something with water between Friday night and Saturday morning that's
Yes.
keeping him from being peak.
Yes.
When he figures out that balance, he's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, unstoppable. Yeah, competing against his last show in the beginning of the year, it was between Matthew and the winner of the Arnold.
Sommerfeld.
Mike
Sommerfeld.
Mike the
And
badass.
Mike Sommerfeld brings it, but Greco was so on point. And to
Yes.
see him show up and be in Detroit and be as good.
Yeah.
But he wasn't as crisp as he was.
That's what he needs to learn from Logan Franklin, from Mike Sommerfeld, that crazy conditioning, that sometimes Wesley Vissers has, because Wesley Vissers was a lot better from the Arnold to Detroit.
That's correct.
He needs that separation to attack those guys.
Yeah.
Well, when Wesley moved from 7th to 2nd or 3rd that year, that was so good.
Yeah.
So he knows how to get there. So, yeah, right. There's a couple
Yeah.
spots he can build up. So
Yeah.
the season kept rolling right along, and we went down to Brazil for the Arnold Brazil, where you hear Bom dia. Yeah.
Bom dia.
Bom dia. That was Arnold in Brazilian. Another great show. I mean, everybody just for the beginning of the year has just brought it.
Yeah.
Vitaly Goodvito, Russian sensation, went to Brazil, started a life in Brazil with sponsorships. Now he's married, he's got a kid, he lives in Brazil. He was predicted to be the favorite, and he delivered. It was a powerful performance.
This guy's massive.
It was
Massive.
powerful.
He's massive.
Okay, he was the favorite. People said he is the favorite. And a lot of times when we say he's the favorite, people go like, he delivered. He won convincingly. He's got big Rami legs. He's a monster. He poses with energy. He is a Russian nuclear bomb.
Look at
Wow.
those arms.
That's you know what I mean? So he is massive. I was critical a little bit
Pause right there.
last year about the Detroit Pro, where I thought his waist could have been minimized, and he did that. He's a massive bodybuilder.
Linda, look at those arms.
I know. When he goes in that front double bicep, I was like, OMG. And now he's not in the front double bicep, and you can see those biceps hanging. Like his upper body, for me, it's like a mass monster, and I want to see him on the Olympia stage. Great upper body, small waist, going down. Look at the separation in his quads. I mean, he was on point.
Look at the silhouette of that far left delt and how it protrudes like that and just pow.
And it just pops. And he's probably not all the way into that pose because the right's not popping as much as the left. The right's not popping as much as left. But impressive. Mass monster.
He is
This
a mass
guy.
monster. At the Mr. Olympia, he's going to be right next to Nick Walker. Okay? And what's going to happen is people are going to see the judges, I'm going to be one of them. We're going to go like this. This is what happened with Sean Ray and Dexter Jackson. Dexter Jackson said, put me next to Sean Ray. I'm just as good as this guy. The day they got together, that's when people said, Dexter is just as good as Sean Ray. Hopefully Sean Ray is not going to watch this because he's going to be so bitter.
Your phone's ringing.
He's going to be so bitter about life. Well, Sean, we all know he won the Olympia. You didn't. But once they put this guy next to Nick Walker, people are going to start to perceive this guy should be right here with them because he's just as good.
Yeah, beautiful structure. What's happening in Brazil? You guys are producing athletes at every single division, and I was really happy to see this.
Linda, it's starting to come along. First of all, he's a Russian guy, so he's got the ability to be huge. He's got the Slavic, Now, this is Leandro Perez, right? And this was his best performance. He is a bodybuilder that he won a show in Brazil. He came to the Arnold and he said, I'm going to try to beat Goodvito. He didn't, but he impressed the hell out of people.
Yeah.
People were talking about Leandro Perez and say, this guy is amazing. How come we've never heard of him?
Let's keep rolling here. Look at the back on Goodvito. Now, I can see, though, moving up to this next level, now that he's qualified, take a few more months, work on that conditioning and dial that in. Work on that posing a touch, sitting on that quad, sitting on that ham, getting that. He was having fun, though. He brought some excitement.
He knew this is my show.
Yep. And here you can see how tight he is. So look at that, the 3D effect in the back double bicep, the little small waist, and look at those hamstrings. He's tight.
Look at this,
The
guys.
width.
This is Big Ramy all over again.
Yes.
Look at
that's
this.
Huge. That's awesome.
I mean,
that's
Tim,
beautiful.
Tim, this is more than 2 of your legs.
That is a physique.
I'm not saying your legs are garbage.
No, they're bad.
No,
They're really
I'm not
bad.
going to use the word garbage here. I'm going to say your legs are not great, but this is humongous. This is Big Ramy all over again.
Yeah. Look at that. I mean, it really is amazing when you look at this physique here. Look how tight.
Do you know why he can never be president? Because Tarek would hit the big red button over and over. That is a button pushing dude right there. So now that he's sat on that a little, though, it's even deeper, it's even bigger. The arms, the back, the 3D.
The 3D.
So, the only thing I would start to say, though, is mid to low lats.
I agree. He's got it's almost like he reminds us of Big Ramy on everything. Huge legs, and then you got the low lats here, right, that needs to be improved. But he's a young guy, and I think he's going to be phenomenal. He delivered in Brazil. I can't wait to see this guy at the Olympia.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see him as well. Great.
If I was an Olympia qualified athlete and someone was saying, you remind me of Big Ramy, I'd be good with that.
Oh, yeah. I think I'd be very, very good with that. Very good with that.
Leandro Perez is trying to get his qualification. I want to give credit. Carter, can you roll a little bit? I want to give credit to this guy because people here in the United States, they don't know about him. When you talk about bodybuilding in Brazil, you talk about Rafael Brandão, right?
Yes.
We all love. But it's time for us to realize there are other Brazilian competitors. Leandro Perez is one of them, along with Marcelo Cruz, who took third. Let's get to know this guy, Leandro Perez from Brazil. He is a great bodybuilder.
Yeah. Look, I mean, he's got it. You're looking at his structure. The X-frame, he's got nice quads. He just got to get tighter. You can tell he's not as tight here. But look at him from the side, nice side chest. And if he were tighter, we'd see more.
Yeah.
You see more, because you don't see the same separation in his hamstrings and the indentation on the side of the glutes. But he's got the depth.
What I didn't know, Linda, was a Brazilian thing. So I kept saying, when we first started this, wow, Brazil's really coming on. Brazil's really
Yes.
coming on. And it is taking hold. But Derek was quick to point out, you know they have the same population as the United States, right?
Yes.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people in Brazil. Geographically, it's a huge country. Great diversity. You get a lot of different genetics. And there's something interesting happening in Brazil. We used to be really good at soccer, and now we're horrendous. Okay, we're horrendous.
Really?
Okay, every Brazilian that's watching this, you and I know we're horrible. We are garbage. Okay, I'm saying this right now. The Brazilian soccer team is horrible, and we just lost to Argentina 4-1. What's happening to the young Brazilians? They're like, you know what? If you guys suck, I'm gonna watch Ramon. I'm going to watch Brandão. I'm going to watch Franciele Matos and Eduardo Bezerra.
Oh, yeah.
So now there's this huge influx of young people following bodybuilding, and they could care less about soccer. It's great for us. Obviously, I lost my hopes with the Brazilian soccer team, but I'm proud of a lot of these Brazilian competitors. In the beginning, the bodybuilders were not as good. We just had Brandão. Now we're starting to get more.
Well, you had Dino, Brandon, Marcelo Horse MD. Then you got this gentleman right here. But then it started to branch out like Breno, the lieutenant.
Lieutenant Brennan,
yes.
Vitor Chaves.
Diogo Montenegro.
Yeah.
All the way across the board.
Then you start getting into some bikini, all of wellness. Natalia Coelho, who we can't forget from Brazil.
Elisa
originally.
Piccini.
Elisa Piccini.
She's in bikini.
Look, Brazil has won in women's physique, the Olympia. They've won in bikini.
Yes.
They've won in wellness. They've dominated.
dominated.
Nobody has
Dominate
won in
wellness.
wellness. Then you look at the men's category. You got Diogo Montenegro, who's been top 3 at the Olympia. Brandão has been top 2. Ramon has been top 2. Brandão has been in the top 8. So it's a lot of people, and it's a lot of great competitors. I might be biased, but I think it's the second most powerful country in bodybuilding.
It is the second most powerful. And you know what I love about Brazil is that Brazil, they're hungry. They're hungry. Like every athlete, they bring the conditioning. I don't know of many that compete that just come in and it's like, oh, I'm big, I'm muscular, I got the structure. They bring the conditioning.
Yeah.
They push the Americans every time.
Yeah.
Well, we have a couple more shows to talk about as we round out this episode of Primetime Muscle, and we'll get to those when we come back.
Every rep and every drop of sweat counts when you're chasing greatness. SteelFit is your ultimate partner on this journey. SteelFit isn't just about products, it's about performance. Abs of steel, buns of steel, and guns of steel are designed to help you push through limits. Your goals are within reach. SteelFit is for those who are committed to their results.
And another show that's growing greatly, the Triple O Dynasty. Triple O meaning triple Olympians, 3 Olympians, Sidney Gillen, Whitney Jones,
Andrea Shaw.
and Andrea
Andrea
Shaw.
Shaw.
So their show is taking off like gangbusters.
It definitely is. They had a really great following. Women show up in the figure division and women's bodybuilding. I think we had 15 women bodybuilders.
Wow.
Yeah, and about 19 figure.
Good.
Yeah, and the prize money, Sid put up 10 grand.
All right then.
That's pretty
I
good.
did see that check of 10 grand.
10 grand.
Man, people starting paying a lot of money. I might get in a diet here and just bust it out.
We have to do it.
Okay, I'm gonna bust it out, my friend. Put the camera on me, Carter. People think, look at this, look at this, look at the density on the arms right here. All that money in bodybuilding. Jake is giving $600,000. The Arnold $500,000. And then you got all these regional shows, 100,000, 10 grand here, 10 grand there. There's more money in bodybuilding than ever.
Yeah.
Congratulations to all the promoters. And if you're a competitor, get on stage, make that money, buy a house, and invest.
That's smart.
Yeah.
And I love that Jake is fostering women's bodybuilding to come back bigger and better than ever.
Bigger and better than ever.
And more opportunities like this show for the pro bodybuilding women to get to the Olympia, which is incredibly important.
Absolutely. Andrea Shaw did a great job promoting the Triple O. She raised that prize money. I believe first place was $7 grand. So she's making me step up my game.
All right.
So is Sid Gillen making me step up my game. And I'm really thinking about what am I going to do? I got to dig in my pockets here.
August 10th to 12th, remind me.
Yes, my show is August 15th, 16th.
16th.
2-day show,
Yep.
nine events.
We'll be there.
You'll be there.
I'll be there saying
Absolutely.
the names.
Yeah.
So tell us some names. Talk to us about a couple of winners from
Let
the
me
show.
tell you something. I was so excited. Like, I was really nervous. Celica Given. Her first qualification by winning the Triple O, she will be at the Olympia. She looked amazing. She gets better and better and better. And then there was this female, Tiana Flex from South Africa, and she pushed Celica. And I was really nervous because Celica's just the bodybuilder. She's a traditional, the amount of muscle, the density, her structure, her presentation, everything about her is amazing. So I truly want to see her on the Olympia stage. Tiana Flex, I was very, very impressed with her. Her conditioning, she was tighter than Celica in the rear. However, she did not carry the amount of muscle. When I look at two athletes and I think about who I want to see on the Olympia stage, Celica Given, I'm ready to see her.
Well, Tiana's got to have great things happen. When you're a baby and your last name is Flex, I mean, you're in South Africa and the parents are going, well, Andrew Jack is a good name for a baby. I guess Tiana Flex, she could be a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was good.
There's something cool about Celica or Celica? Celica.
It's Celica.
Celica Given.
Celica.
First of all, she's got the best smile in bodybuilding, okay?
Absolutely.
She's got this beautiful smile, but there's a muscle density to her physique that we haven't quite seen. It's like she can hold on muscle. She's like a little bit of that Paul Dillette in the women's bodybuilding, you know? She's got some body parts that are so impressive. The arms, and then the back density. She belongs at the Olympia, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's in that top 5. She has the potential to really attack the top 5. I'm impressed. I saw her at the Rising Phoenix last year, and I said, Linda, who is this person?
Yes.
So congratulations.
Congratulations.
So, Tarek, who else? We've had a couple other shows recently. Anybody else jump out at you?
I gotta tell you, man, in the last couple weeks, we had some really good regional shows. And we mentioned Vitaly Goodvito. I think this guy is gonna be a rock star. But I'm gonna mention a pal of yours, okay, that nobody's talking about. And you know him well because you did the Tim Wilkins experience with him. Vitor Chaves, okay? Vitor Chaves won a show in Brazil and qualified for the Mr. Olympia. Vitor Chaves took second to Ali Bilal in Pittsburgh and in New York, and it was close, okay? The feedback was Ali Bilal has deeper obliques than you have. Which, you know,
Is that possible that anybody has deeper obliques than Ali Bilal?
B-roll pictures of Vitor Chaves. This guy did something that his obliques now look insane. I'm telling you, Vitor Chaves is going to come to the Mr. Olympia and he's going to shock the world. We're talking about Ali Bilal. We're talking about Ryan Terry, Aaron Banks. Do not forget this guy. Vitor Chaves can change the game at this Mr. Olympia. He was the one that impressed me the most.
He put on a lot of dense muscle the last year and a half.
And I think that people are underestimating the fact that he's been there. He's been top 5.
Yes.
He took second to Ali Bilal, and people are forgetting about him. And when he shows up on stage, they're going to be like, oh boy, what happened here?
Consistent athlete.
Yeah.
Consistent. He's qualified for the Olympia many times.
Many times.
Many
And
times.
he's always there. I think this year he can shake things up.
Yeah.
Now, changing gears, April 7th, I believe it was 7 p.m., The list for this year's Masters Olympia in Tokyo in August came out. Any surprises?
Well, I got phone calls that Jimmy Mentis was not there. I got phone calls that Ronnie Rocco was not there.
They both look amazing.
But hey, guys, there's still plenty of shows to qualify, right?
Oh, absolutely.
If you're that great, you can do an over 40 show. You can knock it out of the park and earn your qualification. There's 5 shows in open bodybuilding. So Jimmy Mentis and Ronnie Rocco, they need to go and earn those qualifications, and I think they will. Looking at the list of competitors, I mean, some categories is going to be a brawl. Like, if you're doing figure in the Masters, you're going to have to see Jessica Reyes-Padilla, okay? There's just no other way around it.
No way around it.
You're going to have to see her, It's like going to the Olympia women's bodybuilding in the 80s and 90s. Linda Murray is going to be there.
That's right.
You're going to have to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not quite sure what the strategy is for the figure competitors, but they're going to have to battle that. In the bikini, Jessica Wilson will be there, but you're starting to see some new names. In the wellness, Nereldi Garcia, the former champion, she's going to be there. But I saw some new names, especially coming from Brazil. Renata Guaraciaba, she's going to the Masters Olympia, and she won an open show this year.
And Jessica won a bunch of open shows in bikini last year.
Correct. So things are going to get interesting.
212.
In the 212, obviously, Hidetara Yamagishi is the champion, but he said it on the live. He goes, guys, I'm 50. I saw some of these guys qualifying that are 40. I might be in trouble, And that's the guy that won. So it's going to be an amazing competition. I did the revealing of the names with Sandy Williamson, with Shoji Sun, who's the promoter, Sally, who's one of the judges, Alina Popa. I think the Masters Olympia are going to be incredible event, and right after you have the Tokyo Pro. So there's going to be some open competitors.
I saw
as well.
Iris Cow. She was looking great. I know she's right there with Hide and putting them on, but she was looking in like incredible shape. I'm like, girlfriend, are you getting ready for Japan?
Now, it's been a few years. I was emceeing a show down in the Naples-Fort Myers area, and we were in the hotel gym, and Hide was in there with Iris, and they're doing spider curls. When you do the incline bench, you come out and you get that real peak, and both of those peaks, both Hide and Iris, look good.
Yeah, something's going on there.
Well, Rashana Boswell is the current Masters Olympia champion, and if Iris Kyle came in and announced that she's doing it, it'd be a huge problem, right? Because now you're dealing with somebody that, Iris is hungry,
always hungry.
You
always
talk to Iris
brings
about
it.
something, she's always hungry. She's got that intensity. And if she does the Masters, we've heard all kinds of names speculating. Brandon Curry, all kinds of names. We don't know who's going to show up. If you're a former Mr. Olympia or Miss Olympia,
that's right.
You can send a letter to the office and they say you're in.
And then you're in.
You're in.
I emceed that show for 5 years during Vince Taylor's run when it was part of the Jantana Classic, which was a blast. And seeing those blast in the past names and seeing those icons and legends come out in their peak shape at 45, 55, 65, a couple guys 70 and 72, it was awesome.
Yeah.
That was such a great show.
Well, it was a great show, but the key question is, was it as good as Pro Zero from Global Formulas?
No. So, Tarek, tell us about our sponsor.
Many people talk about greatness, and we do have greatness in this table with Linda Murray. But I also want to mention a product by Global Formulas, our sponsor. My favorite is the vanilla. I'm not into the strawberry. I'm not into the chocolate. I like vanilla. Why do I like this product? It's very simple. No fat, no sugar, okay? You just get the protein in your body. I don't see any other protein shakes in the market that do that. This is the Pro Zero by Global Formulas. I need you to go right now to www.globalformulas.com. Order this right now so you can have an incredible summer and finally get that girlfriend you want.
Now, Lena, one thing, knowing Jacob Frank and Global Formulas, it's the formulations, it's the purity of the product, the bioavailability. He's talked to me about the way these things are created. They're so specific that you're not processing a lot of it out and
Yes.
missing out on the utilization of these fine things. We thank Global Formulas as always. And if you would like to see your sponsor logo here or up on the big screen behind us, definitely reach out to us here. At
Hey,
Prime
who's
Time.
in the big screen right behind us?
Huh?
Is that a new sponsor?
I believe it is.
Yes, Still Fit Skin Fitness and Sports Nutrition has joined us. They send us a package. We are going to be displaying the product for you guys. Still Fit is the same company, well, a parent company with Pro 10, and they're our new sponsors. Guys, congratulations. I can't wait to display the product for our audience. Congratulations on joining us.
Linda, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Derek,
Great to be here. I'm glad Chris is not here.
and as always, like, subscribe, share, and join us on future episodes of Primetime Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins. We'll see you next time.